1970s America, there was a house, and right in front of it stood a clown, painted in eerie black and white. He was showing a trick to a young girl and asked her to simply extend her hand. But the moment she trusted him and followed his words, she made the most dangerous and horrifying mistake of her life. Because years later, her bones were discovered by the police, alongside nearly 20 other victims, hidden inside this clown's compartment. And this chilling incident was later linked to a sinister entity, a demon that appears before its victims in black and white attire, with a disturbingly twisted smile right before killing them. October 2022, in an American theater, a horror movie was being screened. Suddenly, in the middle of the film, a boy stood up from his seat and collapsed, unconscious. Soon after, ambulances arrived outside the theater, but during the same screening, 5 other people had already run out midway. Some rushed into the bathroom and started vomiting uncontrollably. Others began having seizures, while someone started smashing their own head against the wall. It felt as if something had suddenly taken over them. And this wasn't just an isolated incident in one theater. Across hundreds of theaters in America, similar started surfacing. People were fainting, vomiting, crying in pure terror, running away from something they couldn't even explain. And all of this was happening because of a movie with a budget of just $250,000. No big stars, no major studio backing it, but still, it introduced a character so terrifying that it stole the sleep from people's nights. A clown who doesn't speak, doesn't even laugh, but when he does, it freezes your blood, because his laughter means only one thing: your death is inevitable. And that clown's name is Art the Clown, and that horrifying film was Terrifier. But the real question is, why is this Terrifier clown so dangerous? And what exactly is his backstory? Did a character like this ever exist in real life? And is there truly a connection between this clown and some demonic, otherworldly force? So only those people should continue watching this video who are not cowards. Because today, we are diving into the story of a demon, Terrifier. And trust me, once you know the story of this clown, you'll forget every other clown out there, even the famous ones. Enough of the intro. Let's begin the video. The story begins in 2008. In New York, there was a guy named Damien Leone. And no, he wasn't related to any celebrity. He was deeply passionate about filmmaking, but he had no money, no resources, nothing at all. So, to express that passion, he decided to create a short film called The Ninth Circle. In this film, he threw in everything: witches, ghosts, monsters, demons, and a clown. He just wanted to see which character people would connect with the most. But what happened next was completely unexpected. People forgot every other character. The only one they remembered was the clown. Maybe that makes you wonder, what is it about clowns that makes them so terrifying? Because this clown doesn't speak at all, not a single word. He just stands there silently, staring at his victims with a slow, unsettling smile, as if he already knows everything about you. After this short film, Damien realized one thing: he had found his star. So in 2011, he made another short film, and in 2013, he brought that character back in an anthology film called All Hallows Eve. And then, in 2016, he created the film that changed everything, Terrifier. And literally, the budget of this film was just $35,000. If you compare it today, that's not even enough to buy a decent flat in a city. But with that tiny budget, Damien managed to create a villain so terrifying that it gave tough competition to legends like Pennywise, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger. Now, you might be wondering, what was so special about this clown? What made Terrifier so different? The answer is, he was the complete opposite. Where Pennywise is colorful, Art is only black and white. Where Pennywise talks a lot, Art doesn't speak at all, not a single word. Pennywise has hair, maybe not much, but still something. But Art is completely bald. Pennywise doesn't rely on weapons, but Art, anything he gets in his hands becomes a weapon: a knife, a blade, a sword, a stick, a hammer. Whatever he finds, he uses it to brutally destroy his victims. And now, let's talk about the man who truly brought this character to life, David Howard Thornton. Since this was a low-budget film, David's manager and agents actually warned him not to take on a project like this. He was advised to stay away from low-budget films, but David really loved this character. And the most important thing was, David was trained in mime, meaning acting without speaking, expressing everything through facial expressions and body language. And he used that exact skill to bring this character to life. For him, it was the perfect opportunity to showcase his talent. The film might have been small, but the character was incredibly powerful. He doesn't speak, he doesn't forget, but his expressions sent chills straight down your spine. And when the film was finally released, it was only released in limited theaters because even the creators didn't expect it to perform well. But after that, social media exploded. Some people fainted while watching the film, others started having seizures, some ran out of the theater in panic, and ambulances had to be called. People started experiencing strange, unexplainable feelings. At first, many believed this was just a publicity stunt, but when they went to watch the film themselves, they realized the truth. The movie was genuinely disturbing, so intense that it left viewers shaken. This film uses very little CGI, but relies heavily on realistic gore. And by realistic, it means practical effects, makeup, props, and techniques that feel far more real and terrifying than CGI ever could, to the point where it genuinely feels like everything happening on screen is real. And when someone watches such realistic gore on a big screen, so much blood, so much brutality, for a moment the brain forgets that it's all fake. And then the body starts reacting, fainting, vomiting, sweating, pure fear. And that's exactly what happened during Terrifier. Some of the things I've told you, you already knew, but do you know the real meaning behind the name Art? One theory suggests that the clown's real name is Arthur, and Art is just a short form. And after killing his victims, he writes Art on the wall, using their blood. But the real question is he really just an Arthur? Or is Art actually his signature, something much deeper? Because for him, the victim is just a canvas, the murder is his artwork, and the entire scene is an art installation. So whenever Art the Clown kills someone, it's not just murder, it's a performance. In a way, he's showcasing his art of killing. But now another question arises. Does a character this dangerous have any connection with the devil? Or is it just his twisted mind that turned him into such a terrifying criminal? The truth is, neither the movie nor any theory clearly confirms any direct connection between Terrifier and demons or the devil. But one thing is certain, this clown does have a connection to the real world. Not supernatural, but something far more disturbing, because history has seen people just like him, or maybe even worse, who have committed crimes far more horrifying than what you see in the film. The 1970s, Chicago. There was a man named John Wayne Gacy. He owned a construction business. He was respected in society, hosted parties for neighbors, and was even active in local politics. For children, he became Pogo the Clown, visiting hospitals and birthday parties just to make them smile. But behind that cheerful face, behind that friendly clown, was hiding a serial killer. Between 1972 and 1978, he murdered at least 33 people, and his method followed a disturbing pattern. He would lure young boys to his house under the excuse of showing them magic tricks. Then, under the excuse of a magic trick, he would handcuff them. And what happened after that is something I won't describe in detail, because it's too disturbing. And honestly, it's something we can't even show here. Just like this clown who would brutally end his victims. Inside his house, in the basement, 26 bodies were buried. When the police finally dug up that basement and those bodies started coming out, even the officers were left shaken to their core. And this didn't happen overnight. He wasn't caught immediately. For years, he kept committing these crimes, all while pretending to be a decent man, acting normal in front of everyone. People saw him as cheerful, friendly, until 1978, when a 15-year-old boy went missing. During the investigation, suspicion finally fell on him. Certain clues, certain evidence, forced the police to reach his house, even though many officers still believed he was innocent. But when the truth finally came out, everyone was left horrified. He was convicted for 33 murders, and in 1994, John Wayne Gacy was sentenced to death. Now you might be thinking, this is just an old story from the 1970s. Things like this don't happen anymore, right? So let me tell you about an incident from 2016. Not too long ago, around 2016, in August, in Wisconsin, a strange image suddenly went viral. In the darkness of the night, in an empty parking lot, a terrifying clown was just standing there. He wasn't doing anything, just standing still. But even then, that single image was enough to terrify people. And that was only the beginning. Soon after, incidents started increasing rapidly. Reports began coming in from all over America. In South Carolina, clowns were reportedly trying to lure children into the woods. In Georgia, clowns were chasing school buses. In Pennsylvania, it was scaring children, even attempting to attack them. By October 2016, reports of these creepy clowns had spread everywhere, across the United States, and even to countries like Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia. In total, more than 18 countries reported similar sightings. After these incidents, people literally started fearing clown costumes. Parents who had invited clowns for birthday parties began canceling their events because every parent had the same fear. What if the clown we invite is actually something else? Children became scared of even hearing the word clown. Major brands that used clowns in their advertisements started removing them completely. Even McDonald's had to pull back its mascot, Ronald McDonald, from public appearances. As a result, professional clowns around the world suffered. People started seeing them as criminals. And after that, even global clown communities, even clown associations had to release official statements saying, "We are good clowns, good people. Please don't fear us. We are not criminals." Now let's go back to that very first image, the clown standing alone in that parking lot, the one that started it all. Since '93, later it was revealed that it was actually part of a horror film's marketing campaign. But in trying to make their film go viral, they ignited a fear across America that quickly spiraled out of control. And soon, many real criminals started taking advantage of this fear, using clown costumes as a disguise. But even now, one question remains. Clowns were meant to make people laugh, so why do they terrify us so much? The answer lies inside our own mind. It's something called the uncanny valley. When something looks almost human, but not quite human, it creates a deep sense of discomfort. Like a clown, it looks like a person, but you can't see the real face. The face is covered in paint, the eyes feel unnatural, the nose is fake, even the smile isn't real. And that's exactly what triggers a warning signal in your brain. Your mind starts questioning what's really hiding behind that fake smile. A clown is the perfect symbol of fear because it can blend in among us. Its identity remains hidden. Anyone can become a clown. Any criminal can wear that mask. And that's exactly what makes Art the Clown so dangerous. He doesn't speak. He gives no warning. He just smiles. And the next moment does something you can't even imagine. So maybe Art the Clown, or any clown, isn't just a movie character. They are symbols of the fear hidden deep inside our minds. They represent something we've been afraid of all along. That ancient fear which has existed in humans for centuries. The fear of a smiling devil. If you remember, even in old stories and shows, villains always laughed. Because that laughter creates discomfort. It triggers fear in your mind. A smile that doesn't feel right is far more terrifying than anger. And even in real life, sometimes the people who seem the happiest are hiding something completely different inside. And in the future, we might finally uncover the true backstory of this character, because Terrifier 4 is on the way, and it's expected to reveal much more. But this video isn't a promotion, since 112. And yes, don't forget to comment and tell me, which clown do you find the scariest? Pennywise, Art the Clown, or even an Indian-style clown? Drop your answer quickly. I'll start reading your comments so I know exactly what topic you want to see next. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.